Hello, my name is Danny, and today I'm going to show you how to make a Chrome extension. So let's go over this. What exactly is a Chrome extension? So I'm going to open up my Chrome browser here. I'm going to click on this Chrome button, and as you can see here, this is a Google Doc. But let's go over extensions. So what are they? So we know what a browser is. Essentially, a browser is your entry point into the internet. So from here, you can visit any website out there, Twitter, Reddit, Facebook, YouTube, a lot of websites that are available. But beyond that, we want to add additional functionality to the browser. It could be anything. It could be making a website presents a coupon that'll make something cheaper for you on Amazon with, for instance, the extension Honey. That one is a great extension that I utilize myself, that I would recommend. Another extension that I utilize that is available out there is Dark Reader. So whenever you go on a website, it will make it dark. In this case, it's not actually making this page dark, but just so you know, this is another way that you can go to any website and it'll actually force that website to go into dark mode utilizing this extension. So basically, extensions are a way to extend functionality of your browser. If you want to learn more about the technical side of Chrome extensions, I would recommend you go to the Chromium website. That's where they would display how to learn more about extensions and how it works and the browser and everything. But today I'm going to show you how to build an extension utilizing three simple tools. It's going to be utilizing utilizing JavaScript, utilizing HTML, and CSS optionally, but mostly just JavaScript and HTML for this case. So how do we start? Where I would suggest that you go first is let's go to the Chrome extension developer. Let's see, so not this one actually. So what you want to do, actually, so right here. So you want to learn what an extension is. I would recommend that you go to this link right here. I'll put this link in the description below. But essentially, it tells you how you can actually build this software program on the browser. So you can even see here it references the technologies I specified: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So these are very simple web building tools that you'll be utilizing here today. If you don't know them, I would recommend that you look up a video on how to utilize these tools. But for now, I'm just going to show you how to pack them into an extension. So I'm going to utilize VS Code. This is my favorite code programmer, or what do you call it? Code editor is what they call them. So I'm going to go and open this up here, and let me just exit all of these pages. I was working on this a little bit before. So essentially, what a Chrome extension requires is it requires an instruction manual that comes with this little directory, this little folder here. So imagine you have a little folder, and you're going to give it to the browser and say, hey, browser, I want you to take this folder and do something with it. So that's great, but you need to let the browser know somehow what to do with this folder. So we have this manifest.json, which is going to be essentially a set of instructions for our browser. And it's much more than that, but really in this use case, just imagine it as a set of instructions here. So we have our manifest.json, and there's so many values you can add to this manifest.json, but you can read more about them again on the developer website. But these are some basic ones that will be required of you, or will be required in this use case of developing this extension here. So as you can see, we have a name, description, a version, and a manifest version. I would say these are the most simple, but I think the very least required for actually developing an extension. You actually have to have all of these, especially, version has to be valid, it has to be 1.0.0, some sort of numbering system. Manifest version is also very important. The current iteration of extensions is version 3. Version 2 was just out, I believe, version 3 just came out, I believe, a year ago or something around that time frame. So you might be reading if you're developing an extension, you might be reading some old answers on Stack Overflow on how to develop stuff. Most likely for Manifest version 2, but again, if you want the most recent version, make sure that you're looking at Manifest version 3. And this Manifest version refers to what you should be adding to this manifest.json. So Manifest version 2 might have some properties. Manifest version 3 might be turning some properties into like smaller numbers. So for instance, this action property that you see here, this action key, Before in version 2, it was browser action, and I believe there was one called page action, but now it's by default combined into this action property. So that's nice. So in this case, what we're going to be building today, or what I'm going to show you what I built, is essentially imagine that you have, so let's go back to Chrome. Imagine every single new tab that you open, you most likely maybe you don't have an extension here, but most likely it looks like just Google and Google Chrome and your most recently visited sites on here essentially. So what if you want to make this into a home page utilizing Chrome extensions? So what I'm going to do is show you how to make a home page. Every single new tab that you open, you're going to be adding a new home page, and it's going to be a photo of whatever you desire essentially. And yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So we have this manifest.json, but in addition to that, we want to let Chrome, again, the browser, we want to let the browser know, hey, every single time I open a new tab, I want to see something. So there was a property that I added called Chrome URL overrides. So essentially, you are overriding the Chrome URL, the omnibox, and you're letting it know, hey, for each new tab, you're going to use this HTML page and display it on the browser. So we can go ahead and do that in a second. But again, you can use new tab. I believe there are other ones. There's one called history. I spelled that wrong. That's fine. And then there's also like bookmarks. I believe those are the only 3 that are available, but just wanted to let you know. So again, the way that we can do this is, so again, this is my folder. Right now I'm in a folder of my Chrome extension, and it has some JavaScript code and some HTML. And it has a README, but the README is not required. So what I want to do in order to load this into the browser is you want to go back to the browser, and you want to navigate to this URL, Chrome // extensions. And when you're here, you can see the extensions that you have, and you'll see this button called Load Unpacked. If this isn't available to you, I believe if you enter developer mode, so make sure you have this turned on, developer mode, and press Load Unpacked. So click on this, and I'm in my folder. It doesn't say anything is in here. I'm not too sure why, but I know that this is my folder that has things available essentially inside of it. So now if I select this folder, and now it's going to say, oh, here's the description that I listed, and here's the title, and here's the version number. So this is my extension. So now every single new page that I open, it's a new tab. Look at that, new tab, new tab. That's awesome. But in addition to that, I don't want it to be just this new tab. Say I actually wanted a photo, for instance, to be my background every single time I open a new page. So what I can do is I can add a photo, and I want to, so with some extensions, you can actually add them to your Omnibox here, and you could click it and it'll open like a little pop-up page. So we essentially want the same functionality here. And again, that's another instruction you need to give to the browser. Say, hey, if I click the icon, I want to see a pop-up. So if you click on this little puzzle piece here, you can pin it. So this is my new tab extension. So I'll pin it here. And so I actually already did it, and I specified it in my manifest.json. You'll see here, I have this action property, and this action, I said, hey, default pop-up. I want to see popup.html. So I have this popup.html page that's going to be loaded up every single time I click on it. So if I click on it right now, you'll see pop-up page. It's there. Fantastic. So you can say select photo, and inside of here I already added some functionality. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this, PNG just for fun, and I'll see if that works. And now I'll load the page, and let's see, and look at that. So now, and I open up this new tab. Again, this is kind of this is a random photo I have from my other extension that I built. But essentially, this is a photo that now every single new tab that I open, this is my photo essentially here. But in the Chrome browser, again, the browser itself, it has a set of tools that are available. So these tools that are available, you could find it here. If you navigate to Chrome APIs extension, I believe something like this. Yeah, so there's, again, I'll list this inside of the video description. So let me turn this off for now. And again, for some reason it won't turn off. I'll turn it off like this for the video. So I'll link this in the description. But this is a set of tools that Chrome gives you essentially to allow you to modify your extension in any way. So there's several APIs here. You probably want to use this list of stable APIs. Dev, beta and platform app APIs won't necessarily work for your use case. I would highly recommend that you look into that. But again, you most likely want to use a stable API. So it's really nice. So there's alarms. So for instance, you can make a Chrome extension that'll execute an alarm every like maybe twice a day or 4 times a day or maybe every 12 hours for whatever use case that you have. Another one that you might have here that I recognize, a context menu. That one's a little bit more distinct. That means if you like right click on it, maybe you'll see some options available there. Let's see what else is here. This is pretty cool, so you can navigate into a specific tab and maybe you can capture content that is there. That's really interesting. But what we're using today is the one that I use most commonly. It is the storage API. That one is heavily important for storing the information from a user into your extension essentially, which is what I'm doing here. So this photo that you see here, it's not being loaded up from the file path, but it's actually a data image URL that's being stored on your Chrome browser storage. So what do I mean by that? So the browser can actually has a storage that's local, something like a database you might be thinking. So it has a key value storage. So if I go to here and if I navigate, so I have this other extension that allows me to view the storage. So you can see this long string that you see here. This is actually the photo that I have in my background. So if I go to my storage explorer, you can see in my storage local, I have this data URL that's being stored as the image essentially. So the way that I'm utilizing it is I have this property called permissions and I specify, hey, utilize storage. So you actually have to explicitly tell your browser, hey, I want to utilize this permission. If I did not have this here, then I would not be allowed to utilize the API. So you need to actually have it there. And again, this is comma spaced out since it's an array. So if you want to add an additional ones like alarms, you would have to do that. And the way that I use it is inside of my script.js. Whenever I click on so I'm selecting a photo, I'm specifying for the user, okay, go ahead and select a photo, get the file, and then this is where I'm actually utilizing the storage API. You need to say Chrome, and it's not going to autocomplete. You actually have to do it yourself. You say Chrome and then say storage, and specifically I'm saying local. There's another storage system called Sync, but just for now, it's a lot simpler just to utilize local, especially for large images, because Sync can't hold that much information inside of it. So you want to say local.set image to reader.result. So that has to do with, some file system APIs, but don't really worry about that. Just know that this is how I'm utilizing the Chrome API of storage. And finally, in my main.js, which is referenced in my new tab, I'm going to be utilizing local.get image. And if the image exists, then I'm saying, okay, for my page, I am setting it to URL of res.image. So that's essentially how to utilize a Chrome API. And again, there's so much functionality that you can add to a Chrome extension that you really have to look up this information and see what is available to you to build whatever you want. Again, you could build a new tab. You can build really a lot of extensions with these kind of functionalities. So, yep, that's it for today. Really, I just wanted to show you how to build a simple Chrome extension. And again, this repository can be found in the description below as well. So that's it for today. All right, see ya. Bye.